Welcome to another episode of REVXP Presents. I'm Chris Mann, the SVP of REVXP, the global gaming division of the integrated sports marketing agency Revolution. And today I am thrilled to be joined by Heather Garozzo of RAIDIANT. What's up, Heather?
Hey, Chris. Good to be here.
So, little disclaimer, Heather and I used to work together at New Meta Entertainment, which is Dignitas. She's actually, this is her second time on REVXP Presents. The first was the actual 3 years ago when we did the first live episode with Heather, our clients at Chipotle, Hunter Pence. And that was a fantastic episode. We've definitely gone away from the live episodes now just because they're a little fun to schedule. But I'm excited to have Heather back because she's got some incredible things going on. So for those of you out there, a little introduction for Heather. She co-founded RAIDIANT, which is actually the fastest growing platform for women in gaming with over 70,000 followers. She's held a ton of executive roles in gaming, including at Dignitas, where she's been VP of community events, talent, and marketing. So she definitely has a lot of experience wearing multiple caps within the industry. She is actually also a former professional CSGO player and world champion. And she's one of the top observers, which means she essentially controls what you see during competitions around FPS events, including working premier events like the Valorant Champions event and this upcoming Game Changers Valorant event in Brazil. And also, and last but certainly not least, Heather was inducted into the Esports Hall of Fame. She was the first woman to be inducted. Heather, welcome.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you.
I could be your hype man. Let me follow you around.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do that.
Well, obviously, big fan of everything that you've done and really enjoyed our time working together. And it's great to have you back. You've got so much great stuff going on with the RAIDIANT platform. We'll get into that in a second. But just for all the marketers out there, we play games. This is a great industry. We love to play video games. What are you playing right now?
Wow. Yeah, I mostly stick with just your standard like competitive titles. Like, I don't know, I can't play any single player games. So obviously I play a lot of Valorant, which I love. Now that CS2 came out, I've been dabbling in that a bit. It's a bit rough. They need some to do some work on that. And then because the holidays are coming up, I always return to World of Warcraft during the holidays.
Warcraft.
So I'll probably be doing that again soon.
I am not a big Warcraft person. I played a ton of Hearthstone, so I kind of understand the lore. But I will tell you, the Warcraft Rumble game, I don't know if you got into that yet. No. It is excellent. Like, and if you're gonna play, let us know because we've got a guild with some people in the industry, and we could always take a top level performer like you.
Oh my god! Okay, yeah, I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that exists. I mean, I do carry you in
actually
Pokemon Go sometimes too, so I can carry you in that. Yeah, did launch at BlizzCon.
It launched at BlizzCon. It's got a single-player campaign. It's got PvP. It's got PvE. It's got dungeons. It's got raids. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's doing pretty well. So a really fun game. So we'll connect and get you in our guild so you can carry us.
Let's do that.
So Heather, why did you create RAIDIANT? Can you give brand marketers out there a little kind of background and context about the RAIDIANT platform and why you guys, at New Meta and Dig created that?
Of course. So for context, I've been in gaming now for about 20 years. Before, we didn't call it esports when I started. And very often I was the only woman in the room at those events. Obviously felt very awkward. Over the years, more and more women have played games. Now almost 50% of gamers are women. And a little over 30% of fans of esports are women as well. So that's incredible. But when you look at the numbers of like who's creating content, who's competing, those numbers are much smaller. So only 8% of content creators are women, and less than 1% of pro gamers are women. That balance isn't right. That doesn't make sense. That shouldn't be the case, especially because there's so many women that love to play games and watch games. So we wanted to fix that imbalance. And also I wanted to right a lot of the wrongs that I experienced as a pro player. The events, the equipment that we were provided were always just kind of like hand-me-downs, essentially. We never got the best-in-class stuff. So we wanted to make best-in-class moments for women in gaming, and maybe they'll go off and become professional gamers, maybe they'll be content creators, or maybe they'll take all that love for gaming and just put it into working in the industry. And so we're very proud to have put together many of the world's most watched women's esports events in the past couple of years since we've been doing this. We've done events in Fortnite, Rocket League, Overwatch, Valorant, and we've got many more to come in the coming months and years.
That's awesome. And I know this is a hot topic when you and I worked together a few years ago. I believe, was it 2020, 2019, 2020? We had a lot of conversations around this, and your passion for creating this platform and then actually seeing you launch it has been incredible. And we're really excited. I know in the past, our clients at Chipotle have supported both the Valorant event as well as the Rocket League event. And we're really looking forward to supporting the upcoming Overwatch event, Calling All Heroes 3. So that is very exciting. Again, we'll get to that in a second. But I think it's really interesting, when I think about opportunities for brands, because it's really focused on brands, helping them understand opportunities in gaming, empowering women is an incredible opportunity. And so could you help the marketers out there, short term and long term, what role do you see Radiant playing within the gaming ecosystem, within the esports ecosystem, and how brands can support it?
Yeah, so short term, first off, you're just giving support to this massive group of people that exist are like in those key demographics too, that otherwise no one's giving them the time of day, which is crazy because it's 50% of the audience are women. And so when brands come in that either support the women or like women endemic brands too, the fans support them wholeheartedly. Obviously, a lot of times like the younger kids might look at brands and maybe not be too into it, but like when you're supporting a community that they care about, those fans get fully behind those brands and they support them. Some of my favorite stories are like going to live events and the audience is literally chanting the brand's name because they're like so grateful that they exist and support the community. So you're doing good there. And then long term, we're just normalizing women in gaming, just like women in sports now is huge. There's so many parallels we can draw from sports, and esports is like accelerating at an even faster rate than traditional sports. Obviously, we look at like how huge women's soccer is. Women's NBA, WNBA is actually getting pretty big now, and so like this is the same path, and like you're kind of getting your foot in the door very early, and that's a good thing. Again, these fans are passionate, dedicated, and they want to get behind the people that support their community.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. You talk about like a crowd cheering, and a lot of similar parallels, I think, with the fighting game community, a space that's very underserved, a very diverse space. We partnered Chipotle up with that, and they had the crowd cheering for 10 hours at Evo. And I think that, similar to empowering women in gaming, it's a white space. And I think brands are so focused on doing the same thing in such a copycat industry. What we really excel in, what we do at RevXP, is try to find the opportunities for our clients to do things different with the lens of how do we add value to that community's experience, knowing that whether it be fighting games or empowering women and giving them opportunities or cool experiences or opportunities to play in top level esports events, which is what you guys are doing at Radiant. How do we contribute to that? How do we uplift the community? Mm-hmm. How do we add value to their experience? Is really a big winning formula than just being another brand that created another Fortnite event. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Or another Fortnite map. Like, it's not hard really, how do you add value?
Right, and I'll even add, last time we worked with Chipotle on our Valorant event for VCT Game Changers, as well as our Radiant Rocket League series, both of which became the most watched events of all time for those games for women, which is incredible. But Chipotle gave us a bunch of codes to give away free burritos, free entrees, and so we popped in and out of people's chats when they were watching the event, so they were supporting the women. We said, hey, lunch is on us, lunch is on Chipotle. And the amount of like tweets, Instagram stories, Twitch chat messages that we got as a thank you for just a simple lunch, like they were just so grateful to be appreciated, and those little things go so far with this community.
How do you use gaming as a passion point to grow brand affinity with your current and future consumers? Something that we're constantly talking about with our brand marketers. Like, sure, gaming can help you drive revenue if that's a key KPI, but performance marketing isn't something that you're going to do really in traditional sports. So why would you push it into this ecosystem? This is about using in the NFL, use the NFL, your fandom, your player, your team relationship to create the affinity, right, for purchase consideration. It's the same thing with gaming, except with gaming where it's different is gaming is really the number one passion point for the 18 to 24-year-old. So whether it's male or female, tapping into their passion point, and also knowing that every game has its own community, every creator, every team, they all have their own community. So sometimes brand marketers are like, oh, we don't get that, right? But it's like, there's so many opportunities in gaming, whether you want to be in FPS titles or not, whether you want to be in fantasy, whatever it is, there's so many opportunities if you just have an idea of who you want to reach, right? And so in your guys' case, women in gaming, empowering women is a really easy one to kind of tap into with partnering with Radiant, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. One of the things that's different from like traditional sports versus gaming, obviously, like the players are online all the time. They're always in front of their fans. They're whether they're creating content, whether they're practicing, like the fan to player connection is so much stronger than in traditional sports. And so that's meaningful. So when your favorite player says something that like, I support this brand or this product, like you kind of know they mean it because you are so invested in their lives, and when they're BSing or not. They know when they really mean it. And so it really strengthens that brand affinity because, like, listen, I trust my favorite creator, I trust my favorite pro, and if they say this mouse is the best mouse, like that's the mouse I'm going to use. If they say Chipotle is the best lunch so that I feel like full but also healthy, like that's what I'm going to do too as a pro player when I'm practicing, and that's what I'm going to choose as my lunch.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, right? It's that two-way conversation that you have with gaming creators versus the one-way conversation you may have with traditional sports, right? And so that two-way conversation is more influential over things like generating brand affinity, purchase behaviors, and we have a ton of data that backs that up over the years. We've shared that when I do gaming 101s with brands, like that's a big part of the conversation, like understanding that two-way conversation that's happening in gaming, whether it's on Discord, whether it's on Twitch, YouTube, wherever it is, it's both ways, and that's influence. So Heather, as we look, you have a big event coming up with Overwatch 2. Can you tell us a little bit about the Calling All Heroes event?
Yeah, of course. So Calling All Heroes is Blizzard Entertainment's Women and Marginalized Gender program for Overwatch. It's the first time they've done a program. We did like a trial last year, and this year we have a year-long tournament where we've got different majors, and then those lead to the championship. So the upcoming major, which we title the Radiant Heroes Major, part of the Calling All Heroes program, is the biggest moment that you're going to secure prize money, you're going to secure points to play in a championship that happens later on. So the best of the best will be showing up to this tournament, as well as a number of amateur players as well. So we actually have about 48 teams of 5 to 6 women that will compete in an open qualifier. And that will be on December 2nd to 3rd. The top 8 will advance to the main event on December 9th to 10th. But then we actually have something called the Rising League, where if you didn't make it to the main event, we still give you an opportunity to compete and practice and hopefully level up. So this event has been fantastic. We stream it across all of Blizzard's Overwatch channels, Radiant stream channels. On average, we're getting somewhere between 40 to 60,000 concurrent viewers, which is incredible. Like, it's not talked about enough. This is the most watched event for women and marginalized genders in all of esports on a recurring basis. That's incredible. The chat is so highly engaged. They get way behind their teams and their players. And then also Blizzard has done an incredible job giving custom drops too. So if you're just a fan of Overwatch as well, and you just want to get some cool skins or items for the game, like tuning in can help you get those as well. And then hopefully you'll become fans of the tournament, the event.
Lots of really interesting learnings there for the brand marketers out there. Obviously, the 40,000 concurrents is pretty significant. I mean, that's like, that's what Tim the Tatman gets, right? Like, brands are spending how much money with him? Like, you have a really unique opportunity to partner with, around this great event and get very similar viewership. So,
and I'll also add, Chris, that like rivals like lower tier NBA games, lower tier like college football games, like that viewership is massive.
Yep, it's good coin. Like that's something that brand marketers can really, especially like local NBA or NHL games, like they don't even see that type of viewership for sure. So when does the event kick off? Give us like a little bit of because this is going to come out. We're recording this on the 21st of November. You're 3 days away from Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. So hopefully you have some fun plans. We'll get this out next week in our synopsis newsletter. So it'll be a little later after Thanksgiving for everyone, but it'll be, I think it's a week before the event, right? So the event is the first week in December?
That's correct. So December 2nd and 3rd is our open qualifier that will start at noon Pacific and will stream across. If you're a fan of Overwatch League or Overwatch Contenders or Path to Pro, all of those channels, as well as our Radiant GG channel on Twitch. So noon Pacific on December 2nd and 3rd. And then you'll get your top 8 playing in the main event on December 9th and 10th, also starting at noon Pacific.
Awesome. So we'll share all those links. We'll share links to Radiant, to Dig, to you, all on the YouTube channel. Heather, anything else before we let you go? Because you are the by far the busiest person in the industry. So I want to get you out of here. I appreciate your time.
I choose to have like 4 full-time jobs, observer analyst, pro gamer, founder of Radiant. But it's fun. I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, just as final words, just first off, thank you to all the brands that have supported us, especially Chipotle. We're so excited to work with you. All of our talent are really, really excited for their Chipotle entrees. But then to everyone else watching, like, this community is incredible. They're some of the most passionate players I've ever seen. They're some of the most vocal, entertaining, charismatic. It's a great industry to be a part of. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you, Heather. It is always fantastic to catch up with you. And as I said, I am really looking forward to having our clients back, supporting what you guys got going on with Radiant. It's always a pleasure to work with you and John and the team over at Dig. And thank you very much for your time. Good luck in Brazil. Enjoy Thanksgiving. And until next time, guys, that's another episode of REVXP Presents. We're done. If we don't have another episode, which I don't know, this one came together like last minute. I was like, Heather, hey, you want to do this? You're like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it like a day later. I don't know if we're going to have another one this year. If we don't, happy holidays. If we do, I'll say happy holidays again, and we'll have another great episode. So until then, play some games, have some fun. Make sure you check out the Calling All Heroes event the first week in December. And bye, everybody.
Ooh, thank you. See ya.